Let's go through 10 reasons why you should not become a vegan. Obviously, I chose the ones that I'm confronted with the most. And a very basic argument that goes way back is we've always been eating meat. Now let's look into that. Scientist-wise, there are scientists that claim to be able to prove that this is the case. We've always been eating meat. And there are also scientists out there who claim the opposite. So now we're looking at something that goes roughly somewhat around 2 million years back in time. So if somebody is that certain to claim to be able to prove it 100%, something that happens that long ago, to me this is not only suspicious already, it's also a bit arrogant. Scientists been proven to be wrong over and over and over again throughout history. So obviously scientists too can make mistakes. If it's that long ago, and even if it's not 2 million years, but only 1 million years or even 100,000 years, how can you actually be that sure that you say, okay, it's definitely either that or the other thing? So I think that I cannot get an answer from the scientists. They can help me find my answer by doing what I usually do in those kind of situations, and that is using my own brain and using pure logic and try to picture it. So the first human beings being on this planet, looking like we do today with slight changes, but to be able to consider them human beings, they have to at least somehow look like we do today. So what are they equipped with? They have tools and weapons like we have today. So I ask myself, how would they be able to hunt and kill, for example, a cow or even a pig right from the beginning? And this is something I usually respond when somebody tells me, yeah, but we've always been eating meat. Then I ask them, how have we done that? What do you think? How have we done that? And then they say, yeah, well, we've invented weapons and tools to do so. And I couldn't agree more. That's something that has been proven. We obviously invented tools and weapons to hunt and kill because we have them today. But this is already the answer to the question, if we've always been doing it. Obviously, we had to invent those things first. So what was before that? They didn't just fall from the sky, right? So I strongly believe that before that, we've pretty much eaten what we could grab from the ground or from a tree or whatever. So fruits and vegetables. And maybe after a while we started picking or stealing some eggs and then maybe even killing chickens. But that's something that needed time. That was a progress. So I think by that logic, right from the beginning, we did not eat meat. So that's one thing. The other response I usually give is, how does it even matter if we've been doing it always or not? Because as a human race, we don't go by that logic. None of us goes by that logic that only because we've been doing something always, and what does always mean? For a very long time, we continue doing this. If this was the case, nobody would use a car, not even a bicycle, would go into a plane, a train, or whatever it is, because until a certain time in life, we've always been walking. When I wanted to go somewhere, I had to walk. But most of us are quite happy that somebody invented the wheel and then the engine, because we realized it gets us faster to where we want to go, or even to places we couldn't go before. So we've decided to do something that we've not been doing always or for a very long time, because this is called evolution. It helps us. And maybe not all of those things only have a good side to it. Obviously there's a downside too, but that's my point. It's just that we don't go by the logic. We only do things we've always been doing. Even if you look at other things, for example, if you look at slavery, this is a very common used example. They say slavery in history, I'm referring to the slavery of the white men enslaving blacks happened for about 400 years. So if you then, as a white folk, as a white guy in the year 399 in this process would have said, look, what we are doing is wrong. I mean, they're just like us, they're human beings. What are we doing here? Maybe somebody would have responded by saying, but this is what we've always been doing, because that's such a long time. They probably would have referred to it as always. Did it make it right because they've done it always or for such a long time? No, I mean, it was simply wrong. Thank God at a certain point in time, we've, as a human race, realized it and stopped it. Now, I know there's still slavery today in other parts of the world. It's just not that kind of, at least not that I know of, and it's different. I'm not saying it's any way better, it's different, and we stopped that kind of slavery because we realized, yes, we've been doing it for a very long time, but it was wrong. We need to stop it. We need to develop. We need to move on. And there's so many examples in life, like, and that's not even that long ago. Women in many countries, still today, but let's refer to the countries where women are kind of equal to men, no matter how you will see it or whatever, but they have the same rights and in theory, the same possibilities and everything. So 50 years ago, that wasn't the case. Or make it 60, 70 years ago, depending on which country we're talking about. They weren't allowed to vote. They weren't allowed to work without the permission of their husband, weren't allowed to buy major things without that. So you could say that's what we've always been doing, so this is right. But I don't really know people who use that logic when we talk about those things. They only use it when we talk about eating meat or animal products. So why accept in so many different situations that we as a human race develop and not do only the things we've always been doing, but new things or change the way we've been doing things and whatever? But when it comes to that, it's like, no, we've been always doing it, so I have to. It's not the logic by which we go as a human race.